Hi, this is Laura Whitmore with Acoustic Nation, and I'm here today with Kaki King.
Hi.
Hi. You braved the weather.
I braved the weather.
To join us.
And a terrible head cold, and I'm here.
You know,
there's 8,000 feet of snow outside.
we're in Boston now.
We came through tunnels of snow.
It makes you, it's good stories you can tell your kids later.
I once drove to Boston in the snow. Mommy's so brave.
That's right. So we're here today to talk about your new show and your new album and all the fun stuff you've been doing. So talk a little bit about the neck is a bridge to the body and the concept behind what you're doing with the visual of the show and the music.
Sure. So we have a white guitar. I've taken one of my Ovations and painted it white. It is on stands, so it's immobile, and it's been projection mapped, which is basically a very it's like a digital stencil that's only shining light on exactly where we want it to, so on the parts of the guitar that we want, as well as another video feed that's going behind me, so a large screen is behind me. So there's 2 channels of video, so different things are shown on both. And the show there's actually kind of a script to it. There is a beginning, a middle, and end. There's a journey. There's a kind of a hero's voyage. It's very abstract, and most of the, all of the music's instrumental. A lot of the visuals are incredibly abstract, and some of them are very specific. There are times when the guitar is controlling what's happening visually through some software and some MIDI grids that we set up. There's times when my video performer, Beth, is listening to what I'm doing and reacting, or the guitar's feeding her a little bit of information with like a decibel level, and then she can take that and manipulate. So there's a lot going on. It was a tremendous amount of work. I'm very pleased that I'm able to tour it. And then, of course, there's a soundtrack, which we made as a separate album, and it has a bit more meat to it. There's some strings, and there's a lot of percussion. There's, it's more fleshed out than what you would hear in the show, but the show itself is very full. And, it's kind of this it's a piece of multimedia theater in a way. But it fundamentally is about the guitar, and it is the metaphor of the guitar being... not even a metaphor. I mean, the guitar being this extension of the self, the guitar being the driving force of my life, of my creative life, the guitar holding all the power and all the mystery, and I'm just a student that shows up and tries to learn. And all of that were influences in creating this show.
Wow. So how did you come up with the idea of doing this visual show?
It was such an interesting process and journey, because I had, for many years, by the time I started to conceive this show, I had gone back to playing solo, and very, couple guitars on stage, stripped down, one spotlight, just nothing visually interesting other than what I was doing with my hands. And I thought, okay, I've done this. What can I do visually that would be interesting? I mean, I was talking like a very minimal lighting design, nothing special. But I started to do my research, and I started to look around and seeing what other people were doing and what was happening in other musical cultures. And through EDM music, I was seeing all this crazy projection mapping, and people were projection mapping onto buildings that were huge. And I really was interested by what I saw, but I thought, okay, how can I make that more intimate, stripped down, and something that's a little more small and beautiful and artistic? And then there was that silly aha moment where, oh man, can we projection map onto the guitar itself? And what would that look like? And then by this time I had hooked up with these guys, Glowing Pictures, who were really interested in my ideas, but I didn't really have a solid I didn't really know what I was doing. So it was a lot of testing the stands, the guitar, the paint on the guitar. But once we did it, we mapped it, we shone a light on it, it looked so good that I thought, okay, I got this. This can be something really real. So I, from there, went and wrote the script and developed a lot of the visuals and dictated what was happening, and collaborated with a lot of different people. And the show eventually actually got born.
Yay!
Yeah. I feel very verbose. There's no concise way to kind of tell you, well, this is what happened, and then ABC.
And tell me about you worked with a visual artist for the visual part, right?
Well, many different people.
Oh, many different.
Yes.
Okay.
So Glowing Pictures were responsible for the majority of the visual components. I directed 3 different movies that are in the show, and worked on them with my friend Meg Scaff, who's a great director and editor. I mean, I produced them, I should say. This artist Chantel Martin did. She's very wonderful improvised. She has a lot of improvised line drawings, so she did. A piece for us. I'm trying to think of who else. Beth has created a piece, after the initial conception. She's has done several pieces for the show. And, it continues to evolve and to be a collaborative experience. I think there's some other people, associates of Glowing Pictures, that did some parts to it. It was certainly a big group project for sure.
Mm-hmm.